Hi, today we're going to be going through this final project for Python 1 made by Miriam Liu-Beers. And this project is creating a drawing of a bookshelf that is where the colors are dependent on user input. And the drawing is made with turtle. So you see the code starts by initializing the turtle and it gives the user some kind of instructions and background. Um, the creator introduces themselves and tells them that the user will be asked to choose the different colors and shapes to add an interactive aspect to drawing this bookshelf. So they ask, are you ready? You can type in yes. And they say, oh, now, no matter what your answer is, we're starting and we hit enter again. So the first thing that the code does that actually impacts the drawing is ask for the color. So they use the input function and they kind of give instructions on what the different options are. And so that will be stored in color one. So I'm going to pick silver. And now they're using the input function again to ask for a shape for uh, the turtle that's being used to draw. And again, they list out the different options. So I'm going to choose a turtle. And so uh, that information turtle will be stored in shape one, and silver will be stored in color one. So using that information, they change the color and the shape of the turtle that they've made, which they call shape. So they set those two properties and then they change the pen size. They pen up and go to their starting location and then pen down and then they start their fill color as well so they can fill in the shape. And so they use a while loop and a forward and a left to make this first square. So they start while a is less than or equal to 4, and then they move forward, make a left turn. They do that 4 times to make a square, and then they end their fill. And then they go back to this location to start the next portion of the drawing. And they made sure to like pen up and pen down to make sure there isn't any extra marks. So the second input is for the color of the shelves. So they again use the input function to ask the user. I'm going to put in blue. So color two is set to blue. They change their pen size and they set it to that color. They set the width of the stroke. And so they move forward the length of the bookshelf and then they make a turn or they move forward and then they change to the original color of the bookshelf so there isn't any extra like blue line here. So once they turn and they move forward to move up to the next shelf, then they turn again and then they repeat this process to make the other shelves. So you can see like in this second shelf, they move forward and then they turn right. They change the color to the silver color or the bookshelf color and they move forward again. They turn right and prepare to draw the next shelf, which they do here, and they continue that same process. So now, as they've commented in their code, this is where the books will come in. So they set b equal to 0 because for each row, there's going to be uh, 8 books, and we start at 0. So they're using a while loop to draw books. But first, they need to set the color, and they get that from the user again. So I'm going to say these top row of books is going to be red. And so they adjust the speed, width, and again, they set this initially to the color of the bookshelf so they can get into kind of the position that they want to be in. And then when it comes to drawing the actual shelves, they use a while loop, while b is less than 8. So as you can see, they increment b. So this loop will run a total of 8 times because they start at 0 and they run until b is less than 8. So first they use the bookshelf color or the silver color in this case to get into the right position. And then they change to that new color that the user just put in. They set it to like a larger width and they turn and they move forward. And then they do a 180 right turn and move forward. So initially they're just going up and down, and then they turn uh, the turtle. So when the it goes back to the loop, then it'll go back to this original shelf color. It'll move forward, it'll turn, and it'll repeat the same process. It's essentially going uh, up, down, up. It'll turn, go down, turn, and then move across to the uh, to the right here, and it'll repeat this using the while loop for all the books on this bookshelf. So they changed the speed after that first row of books, and now we're getting ready for the second shelf. So we choose a different color. I'll say purple. And so essentially, this is the same process. The This chunk is for actually getting to the second shelf. So again, they use like the color of the shelf, and they essentially are, so they start over here. So they were here, they move forward, and then they change the color to white, and they actually go around perimeter of the bookshelf. So they turn left, forward, left, forward, left, forward, and then ended up down here. And then they go kind of along where the shelf is. So a lot of this code is similar to the previous line. So they're once again using a while loop to draw different bookshelves. And so this is all essentially the same steps that were taken, except now they're for the second shelf. And so this process repeats for, say, the third shelf. So put in our color, let's say we want green. And so you can kind of see how the turtle went kind of around the lines and then ended up down here. And so that was this process. And again, it's a very similar use of the turtle going up, down, then moving to the right and then up and down. And if it's turning, so this is all you go up, you turn 180, go down, then you turn 90 degrees, and then same process over and over. And so again, for shelf fours, it's again, same process of getting the input color from the user. And for the fifth shelf, just need to pick one last color. Say, let's say blue. And so once the steps sort of run again for the last bookshelf here, then they have in like a last input with text saying like, "Oh, your bookshelf is complete. Nice job. Hopefully you chose a nice color palette and not something ugly." And anyway, thanks for trying out my code. And so that is the completed final project.